Hello everybody! Today I will be showing you a coloring method that I like to use these days to quickly get in the mood. So I can figure out what kind of look I want to achieve for painting. And it takes like 5 minutes. It doesn't take too long at all. And I'll tell you why it only takes 5 minutes later, but this method is actually called gradient maps. And we're using Procreate today, so I'll just show you first a time-lapse video of my process before I tell you how it's done. And I've known this method of coloring for a while, but I've never really gotten into it. I couldn't understand like why people would first make a gray drawing, like it's black and white, grayscale, and then use other methods to color it, and then even after doing that you're going to have to fiddle with it some more, because the results one could get from doing black and white to color is just 80% of the time it will still look like it will need some work to look as pretty as at least I want it to. But sometimes though, things really do just look super cool with like a click of a button, but those times are like super rare, right? And like most times I actually do end up having to play with it, spend some time with it to make it look good. And this is the reason why I like to use gradient maps now, because I actually realized how much time I can actually save and how little time I can actually spend making many variations of the same exact thing but with different colors. And sometimes it could be 2-3 minutes, sometimes it could be 10 minutes, or if I'm really getting into the mood of turning it into some kind of masterpiece, then I'll gladly spend an extra like 3-4 hours just to turn it into something super cool. So that, that's why I realized, like, even if I were to spend the same amount of time just coloring for real instead of just starting from black and white, like the amount of time I'll be spending shading in black and white and coloring, like one for one, it's the exact same. But then instead of starting from black and white, the black and white one could be turned later into as many color combinations as I wanted to. So like initially it takes about the same amount of time, but then you can generate many more different results by just tweaking a few little settings. And as you've seen here, I'm showing you right now, it's a lot of side profiles of the same character, but in many versions of color. So now I've been adding this a lot into my workflow. It's one of my go-to techniques to use when I want to just explore color variation, so I can just decide, I can decide what kind of vibe or atmosphere I would want for my paintings. And to start things off, I just want to start it off by saying, here I am. As you can see, I'm painting a profile of a fantasy character. You can see this, right? So let me just show you. I purposely spent a little long doing this, just shading using like black and then gray and then white, because the thing is, with gradient maps and working from black and white to color, is as perfect as I can get this part to look, the crazier and cooler the color version will end up looking. And I probably spent about 40 or 50 minutes painting the side profile alone, like the black and white one. But afterwards, when it came to using the gradient map tool to figure out my colors, it really can simply range from as short as like a simple button click away, all the way to like fiddling with the settings for like as long as 10 minutes. Now, in total, I've ended up with 9 different versions of this portrait. There's actually one more, but I'll show you that later. And personally, I think they're all cool. It's like they all got hit by this impressive lighting, so the colors are just super dramatic. And it's either that or they really do have like green skin, like an orc, or purple skin like a night elf. You know, it's cool. It's cool. And I do have to mention how you shouldn't aim for the gradient map tool to do all the work for you, like to solve all of your coloring problems, because you should only aim for it to solve anywhere above 50% of your coloring. Like in between 50 to 80 is a good ratio for beginners, and at least it's what I think. And what I do is after I play with the gradient map tool, I then carry on to painting in the colors myself by hand, so that absolutely everything will look exactly as I want them to. And now I know these colors, they're quite wild. As you can see, I'm going for dramatic, like red and like dark purple and like gray and like just like dirty dirt colors. So it's good for mood shots. But you can definitely choose skin colors of your liking so that you can end up with just regular looking skin, or at least something close to it. And then what you can do afterwards is, of course, you can play with it some more. You just hand paint all of the details in yourself for all of the parts that the gradient map tool couldn't do for you. Like, let's just say you might choose to color only the mid-tones of the skin using gradient maps, but then you want to paint in all of the shadows yourself later after you're done with the gradient map tool. So really anything goes. But I'll just have to stress, everything starts from black and white, being flattened into a single layer, okay? And then it's followed by gradient maps, and then finally you can do whatever you want with it and paint however you want, like however much more you want. You can click all the buttons you want, and you can use all the filters you want to use to make it look cool, to for the sake of just having a good looking finished result. And now I'll be jumping over to my iPad to show you how I do it on Procreate. As you can see, I'm on Procreate now. So I just want to show you the different versions of all of these portraits that I've made. Look, there's this one. I quite like this one. This one's red. Very red. There's a lot of different blues involved and grays. But let's just call this one the red one. And then here we have this one. And then we have this one. You see this? These were very, very quick to do. And now we have these. So how I did this is we've got like half blue green and half red blue. What I did was I actually used two different gradients that I've made, and then I erased like half from the top, so the lower half from the bottom layer is showing through, and I combined the two to become one portrait. So that's what happened. And then there's this one, and then there's this green guy with he's got like blue shadows, and this one in the middle, he's got like grayish purple shadows. This one's got blue shadows in some spots, and then he's got like reddish black shadows in some spots, and then some dark spots here are actually green, and the shadows here are like brown. These look very moody, very atmospheric and cool. And here we have an even redder version of the one from before. And as you can see, half of his face on top is cast in shadow, and then the bottom half is catching some light. Same goes with this one. This one's purple. And then the final one, he's getting like some light hitting him on the forehead and the eyes, and a little bit on the cheek and the side of the face. And this one's purple. And he's got some like mid dark shadows that are actually green in color, as you can see here. So those are everything that I've done. 9. There's actually one more, but I'll show you later. And all of these took like 2 hours, like all 9, including me playing with it, including me trying to make it look good, because I'll be showing you people on YouTube. So it really doesn't take long at all. Can you imagine like if you do this one by hand, it might probably take like a whole hour, just like the amount of time you will be spending doing the black and white version, right? But then you won't be able to just comprehend being able to do all the other 8 in like another hour, you know? So what I did was I made the gradient, the black and white gradient. I'll show you, it's down here somewhere. This one. Down here. So I did this, and then I just played around with gradients for some time, and then like 2 hours later I ended up with like 9 and a bonus 10. It's a little bit of a joke, but I'll show you. So what I do is I painted everything, and then I made sure it's all in just a single layer. And this is a painting, right? So it's all in a single layer. I can just convert this into a gradient. But if you are doing something more anime and there's lots of outlines, you have to make sure all of the outlines are actually separate from the skin color layer. So you can just turn the black and white skin into gradients, and then no matter how long you spend playing with the gradient map tool, the outlines will just stay nice and black. Like, I'm not going to show you how to paint, right? You can just use whatever method you think would be best and easiest for you. Like, but I'll just have to say it all starts from a single merged layer, just like this one, as you can see. It's everything is in one layer. See, I'm turning it on and off. It's in a single layer, and now we're ready to turn this into a gradient. So let's just click this magic wand icon and then click a gradient. And I've made some here myself. As you can see, it's called blue skin, eggshell, tree, dirt. But Procreate came with like lots of default ones that you can try yourself if you just want to like see what it's like to be playing with the gradient map. So this one I think looks cool. He kind of looks like he's on Mars. Mystic is cool. Instant. And if you want easy mode, you can always just make one and then turn the black one. The black one represents the darkest of shadows that you would have on your painting. You could go for like let's say a blue. And then the brightest parts, you could go for something else, like a red or something saturated. And you can bring it closer, and this one closer. You can kind of get the idea, right? So what we're going to be doing today is, let's just do that again. We're going to be deleting this so we can start from scratch. So click plus, and I want to choose like a special shadow color for the darkest points, which is just the blackest blacks that I have on this layer. And I don't actually want the blackest blacks to be like all that black, you know. I want it to be kind of purpley gray. And then now we're going to be choosing somewhere here the color closest to being super black. I think I would like it to be somewhat cool, kind of like this blue. And then the mid-tone somewhere, I think it would be good. It would be good if it was I don't know. Maybe we could go for a yellow. Yellowish green? No, it's kind of weird. What about this brown? This brown looks cool. And I'm still playing with this, by the way, so I don't quite know what I'm going to be ending up with. This is kind of cool. Okay, so this is the highlight. We're going to change that into, I don't want it to be like completely white, you know. Maybe a yellow would be cool. Let's just drag it over here. So this is about 5 different combinations of the same gradient settings. I've done more before. Like, let's say, I think this one's got a lot in here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, it's got a lot. What else has a lot? Plant. I use this one for plants, and I use this one for gold. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. It's also 7. But let's go back to this one, the one we were working on before. I'm not quite sure what I should be using now, actually. This is just me playing around. Sometimes it requires me, well, you, to just slide these left and right so you can truly get the most comfortable look. And we're going for this. And we're going to separate the darkest darks, which is actually the gray. And then we're going to be adding another dark here somewhere. So there's going to be like a halo around the darkest spots. Let's change the hue. Something orangey would be cool. What if we turn this into something actual cool colored? Like this. It's kind of bluish. So now we have like at least the mid-tone solved. Let's see if I can push this even further. I'll just remove this for now. Delete. Oof, that's looking quite gray and muddy. What about a blue? Looks like we're going to have to stick to like a pinkish color. Like this one. This one's actually quite cool already. And then we can set the brightest brights into like something else. Don't know if that'll work. Yeah, this kind of works. This makes him look sort of golden brown. Okay, what if I just delete that and then drag this all the way here? No, not too far. Okay, now we've ended up with like a like a golden brown man. We might be missing a few reds here though. There. He's very warm looking. So as you can see, that didn't take me long at all. And now we have one more. And you can play with this as you want. You can like add linear dodge on top, or you could add shadows yourself, or you could even change the colors. Like let's say you can like, a thing that I like to do is go select the blending mode to be hue. And then I'll just choose the soft brush. And then hit this with something else. Kind of like that. That works. Or this works. Another thing you can do, you can play with the hue. Oh, hang on. I selected an empty layer. You could play with the hue and just slide this left and right. You might end up with one you think would look even better. Or you could play with the color balance. Let's say you want the shadows to be even more blue. But then you want the highlights to be warmer. Kind of like that. But let's go back to the golden brown man. Maybe you want to play with the curves. You drag this left and right, and you end up with different versions of the same thing. Adjust however you see fit. I actually think this one, this one is cool. Or this one. I think this one might be better. So we're going to be keeping this. And let's say there's another one that I want to work on. Hang on. What if I go for a blue in the back? Oh, this is kind of cool. So it's like he's being hit by a blue light from behind. And what if he's being hit by like a pinkish purple from the front? It's like he just came out of a Justin Bieber video. Okay. Music video type of lighting right here. And then we can duplicate the one in the bottom, and I think I'll just use something I've already made before, just as an example. I might be able to use one of these immediately, actually. Portrait, no. Noir. What a breeze. Okay. Hang on. I think I'll go with breeze. Or what about this one? Mocha, okay. So I can turn this into a layer mask, and I'll just delete parts of it. See that? So now you have the front of the face that is kind of grayish in color, and the back is actually very, very colorful. Or you could undo that, paint it back in. Or maybe you want to paint it back in selectively, kind of like this. It's as if he's in a room in the dark, the lights are turned off, and then you just open the room and ask like, hey man, what are you doing? And they're like, nothing, I'm just sitting in the dark. You can do lots of things to this. Let's bring it back, front. We might be able to erase the back instead of the front. Like this. Just his whole forehead is colorful. That's kind of cool too. But I think the one from before is kind of nice. Just like this. Yeah, this is cool. So, that'll be it for this tutorial. I think this is a very handy technique. This works very well with paintings. Art that does not have any outlines, right? Although if you're doing anime or anything else with outlines, as I've said, then you just have to make sure that you don't merge together the outlines with the skin color. So even when you're spending some time just playing with the skin color layer, your outlines will just stay nice and black because you kept it separate. And all I've been doing today is just showing you portraits, right? But this is definitely awesome if you just if you want to do landscapes and environments as well. Let's just go ahead and disable this for now. I'll show you what I did previously. So it's great for doing landscapes and environments as well. Like imagine just having these different layers for just like the roof of a house or like the walls of the house, and then different layers of trees in the background, right? Like then what you do is you simply play with the gradient map tool at minimum to just get to 20-30% closer to where you want to be in terms of finishing that part of the painting. Because like I'm sure you all know how much time it takes for when we all just draw a sketch outline of like, let's say, a patch of trees, and then all we do is just we stare at it, and then we stare, and then we just stare, and we think to ourselves like, what color should I use? Like, what color should I use for those other patches of trees in other parts of the picture? It just takes forever, you know, like, and what about that one patch of tree in the very back? How do I make that blue? Do I make that black? Like, it's very time consuming, but good news for you, now you won't have to worry about any of that because the gradient tool can help you get started. Like, then after you play with the gradient map tool, like after you play with it, all you have to do is just paint over the whole thing by hand. Like, just fix everything to make it look as perfect as you want it to. And before you know it, lo and behold, you're finished. So what used to take you like 3 weeks probably only takes you like 1 day. And I love this method of coloring. It's not just useful for me, but also useful for when I show other people all the different colors of skin or object that they might want to see. Like if I drew a purple man for someone, like a client. And my client says, can you make him a little yellow? And then all I have to do is just tweak with the settings and like sliders and all that. And all of a sudden my character is looking a little yellow, you know, like, which is fantastic. It's super fast. So let me know what you guys think about gradient maps and on Procreate. I know it's a big thing on Photoshop and Clip Studio, but I don't really see people talking about it on Procreate. I think it's great as it is. I have no idea how better it could be because I haven't really played with Photoshop much. But whatever Procreate has is actually fantastic. And I understand how this might be confusing to some of you because this isn't just like choosing a brush and then you're drawing away for hours and hours, because that's easy, you know, and then when you're done you just stop. And this is more like technical software knowledge, and it involves a lot of buttons and just like lots of technology sounding stuff and terms. So I do recommend you just asking me in the comments down below if you have any questions, and I'll do my best to answer. And I always read my comments and always reply. So yeah, finally I'll be showing you the final one. Just to further push how, like, I just wanted to show you how you can actually turn something, let me just disable, like an initial render of like a crazy looking thing into it looking like, oh god, like this looks like Gollum now. So into looking something that looks very human. So I made this thing. It definitely does not have human looking skin. It's like purple and orange, right? But I just wanted to just push the limits of what like how much I can mess with a single like color combination, just to show you that yes, it's actually possible to turn this into an actual human looking skin. And all of this is actually drawn in the same duration I spent drawing everything, like from scratch. It took like 2 hours. So I gave him some glorious hair, and all of these new layers that I've made really just helped make him look human, as you can see there. See that? This looks like a legit guy that could go into like a Gorillaz video, like they'll just start singing. Yeah, I really like his hair. Have a good look. But anyway, thanks for tuning in, and if you're still here, thank you very much for watching. Let me know if you have any questions down below, and I'll be seeing you in the next video.